Shoo. Welcome to Relatable Catholic with Katie
and Angie.
I can't believe this is actually happening. My name is Katie, and I have been thinking about this podcast for a while, and we're finally executing it, and it is very exciting.
And I'll just hop in to add to that. My name is Angie, and I'm really bad at saying no. So here I am, also excited to hop into this.
Yeah. So we are just two Catholic girls just trying to find our path to heaven, and we don't really know where this is going.
We have no business doing a podcast.
Absolutely no business. We actually don't also have anybody listening. Well, we might have two people listening, maybe our moms, but they are technologically challenged. So chances are they're not going to even know how to turn on a podcast unless we go to their house and turn it on for them. So,
which we will have no problem doing.
Actually, it really annoys me when I do that. I have to do that. So maybe. We opposite. I would totally do it for Angie's mom and Angie's mom.
And I would do it for your mom.
Angie would totally do it for my mom. So,
and if we're trying to get some viewers, I mean, I would go turn it on for them.
Yeah.
For the sake of getting a couple listeners.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, let's just kind of start over because you don't even know that we are related to each other.
Again, I'm going to reiterate the no business doing a podcast part.
Yes. So Angie and I go way back, all the way to birth. Not like that.
Not my birth, actually, because you weren't around yet.
I was not around. Angie is 2 years older than me, and we have been best friends since we were babies, I think.
Probably. I don't know why we wouldn't have been.
Yeah, one of those forced friendships. Always the best friendships are the forced friendships.
But turns out it has held its time.
Yes. So neither of us have a sister either, so we're kind of like each other's sister. But our moms are sisters, and there are 9 kids in their family, which is just like crazy.
Yes, 9 siblings and super crazy. They are in boy, girl order.
Yeah, that really blows people's minds.
Yeah,
when
that's
I
like
say
a
that.
fun fact to share. Something people don't know about you. That's an easy go-to.
Yeah. So we have always lived in the same town too.
Went to the same school.
Went to the same church. Went to same holidays. So our grandma and grandpa, we are so blessed. They are still alive. They just turned 92 this summer.
Yep.
They still live at home. But anyways, that gets back to my grandpa has recently learned how to use an iPhone at the age of how old
91
is he?
when 91. He got it. Yes, he has a newer phone than I do. He has the brand new Apple phone that came out last year. So maybe not brand new anymore, but newer than the one I currently have.
Yeah. Moral of the story, if you're listening, Grandpa.
Yeah,
and
there's
Grandma.
another listener.
Oh my gosh. We're up to 4
That's
listeners.
4. We've just doubled our audience.
Yeah. Also, I always had Ashley, our cousin. So we have, since there are 9 siblings, we have a ton of cousins. And we're so blessed. Like, we're super close with our cousins too. And they all are a lot smarter than us.
We are kind of the duds of the group.
It was like
in the nicest way. Everyone can't be brainwashed. So
right.
God made us all different.
Yeah. So there's like the first half of cousins. I'd say we're in the first batch
of
cousins. The OG.
Batch.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are all pretty average, I'd say.
And average is good.
Yes.
Great.
We've got, your average occupations. We've got plumbers. We've got teachers. We've got
law enforcement
workers. We've got, that's kind of
like
it.
farm.
Yeah. We have farmers.
Things.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
good
hard
humans.
working, the backbone of America. That's us. The world can't survive without us. And then for some, I don't know what happened, but when the next cousins came, and when I say next cousins, I mean, like, I think that I might be the cutoff because I guess Danielle was after me. She's smart too. So she was, I think, yeah, she was really smart too. So, but starting with Zach, I don't know. They all got really, really smart.
It got really cool to be very smart.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that wasn't a thing when we went to school.
No,
like,
it was
do
not.
okay-ish.
Yeah,
You know,
survive,
you're
graduate.
fine. That's exciting. Like, no one really cares.
Yeah,
I mean,
get
they
it done.
care, but
Yeah. So after us, it's like lawyers, doctors, physical therapists who are doctors, nurses, PAs.
Yep, nurses.
So they all got really smart. And not that you don't have to be smart to live in Bellevue, but we never left. No, that's not true. We left for a couple of years.
we left for college and came right back. We live in small town Iowa, too. I don't think we said
Yes, small town Iowa,
Bellevue, Iowa.
Midwest. Oh, you're like giving our exact location.
You already said Bellevue. So
did I say Bellevue?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay. Well,
So I thought that's what we were doing.
I don't think we'll have a lot of like non-family listeners, so that's fine.
No one's going to come back to this first episode anyways.
Yeah. So Ashley, quite a few of them live in Arizona. And when I started thinking about this, I always had Ashley in mind. So hello, Ashley.
Cousin Ashley.
Cousin Ashley. Yeah, I really thought she would love to hear us all the way in Arizona. So
This episode's for you.
this episode's for you.
Surprise. We have a new podcast.
Yeah.
And you're our number one listener.
Number one listener, Ashley.
Who didn't ask to
She
listen.
doesn't even know we're making a podcast. Another thing about us is we find each other to be hilarious.
So funny. We really do. We often are hit with the giggles, probably in very bad times.
Yeah.
Like when you shouldn't have the giggles. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, that's when it comes on the strongest.
Church giggles are a real thing.
Church giggles.
And we happened to get them a lot growing up. Even now.
Even now.
Yeah. So
we
get the giggles. So anyways, a lot of our cousins are smarter than us in every way. And they have flown the coop. And this is for them, I guess. And whoever else wants to listen. But I hope that we do eventually. I don't know where this is going at all, but I do hope to eventually have a place for people to grow in their faith, which we're going to get into a little bit more about the idea of relatable Catholic. But this is just the first episode, so we've spent quite a bit of time already just talking nonsense about ourselves, which honestly might be where the podcast is heading anyways. So
that was good. That was really good.
Yeah.
You're doing awesome.
So so I guess we can just start with like introducing ourselves.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Katie.
Yes. My name is Katie. Catherine, actually. I live on the same block that I grew up in, along with my brother and my mom and dad.
So
we all
your
live.
entire family.
Yes, my entire family live on the same block. It was just me and my brother growing up. Always wanted a sister. That's where Angie came into play.
Winner.
So I have a dog that I love more than anything, Carlito. His name is Carl. He's named after my grandpa, Carl Kiefer. He is upstairs right now, so if you hear barking, it's him.
At least it's muffled because he was barking right next to us. So we did try and fix that situation
He's
a
at
little
least
bit.
in a different room barking. He's probably eating my pajamas if I had to guess. This is his favorite snack of the moment. I am 34. I am single. Always have been. Questionable, always will be. I don't know. But
I've got some ideas up my sleeves.
yeah,
but
Angie always has ideas up her sleeve. So that's kind of something that I think we'll touch base to on in episodes later. Just kind of like the struggle of being single and not, in the world, in the church at 34. It is a little taboo, I guess, to still be single. And it's something that, there's my friend Carl.
You're not all the way single. You have Carl,
Yes.
who loves you dearly.
Yes, I do have my Carlito. So, yeah, that's a little bit more about me. As far as school goes, we both, I'll start with myself, went to Catholic school growing up. I've always had the opportunity to go to a Catholic school. And I know it was a sacrifice for my parents. And I'm really, really grateful for that. So I went to a Catholic school from the time I was in kindergarten all the way until when I graduated college. I went to a Catholic college as well. But I will say all of the Catholic schools that I went to were not focused on Catholicism. Funny enough, I actually work at the Catholic school. I'm a teacher at the Catholic school that I went to. I teach second grade, big year, sacramental prep. And I'm so proud of where we are right now as a school, because that's something when I started teaching was that I wanted our school to be a Catholic school. So I've been teaching for 13 years now, and at the same school at Marquette in Bellevue, the Catholic school. And I started in first grade, and then I moved to second grade with COVID. I looped with that group, which
had my daughter in it, my oldest daughter, Katie's goddaughter.
Yes, 2 goddaughters in that class, my niece and then Angie's daughter, Bella. Second grade, big sacramental year. It really has opened my eyes a lot. I've learned a ton.
Some of the times the girls come home from school with all these like different things and telling me stuff. I'm like, Mom, do you know this? I'm like, no, I didn't actually know that. So they are learning so much.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel good.
Yeah. And Angie went to the same school, the same Catholic school. So like she can attest that it was a good school.
Wonderful school.
But it was not necessarily focused on Catholicism and the path to sainthood. So that's my calling, I think, right now at my school is I know it's my vocation to create saints, create disciples. So,
and I think that's very beautiful.
Yeah. So that's where I am at with my job. So I teach second grade. And then as far as Catholicity goes, I am a cradle Catholic, which, funny enough, for the longest time when people would say that, I had no idea what they were talking about. I thought they were saying credo Catholic, Crado. And I was like, oh, that must be like a different form of a Catholic. I don't know. And then I don't know, I
didn't know
thank
that.
goodness I didn't tell anybody because yeah, I did figure it out on my own. I was like, oh, cradle Catholic, like you were born into the faith, basically. So I'm not a credo Catholic. I'm a cradle Catholic.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's good. Good to have in my artillery.
Yeah, but maybe this is relatable Catholic. Maybe some other people out there also thought it was cradle Catholic. So I've always been Catholic, obviously, always went to Mass on Sundays with the fam. My family really did prioritize Mass on the weekends, always, even on vacations, which I've really learned to love more in adulthood because I really love going to different churches and seeing the different churches. So I'm at a good place with my faith, but it's something that I definitely want to grow in, and we'll talk more about what relatable Catholic means, which will go more into my faith journey where I'm at right now. So that was a roundabout way of saying me Katie, me teacher, me have dog.
I think it was awesome, Katie. You did good. All right. Well, I guess that means that I'm up. My name is Angie, and I am 36. And
Old fart.
I thought you said, "Oh, I fart." like, I don't think they heard you. Old
fart.
Old
I
fart.
was calling her an old fart.
Yes, I am an old fart with 24 more months of experience in my life. And I am married to Chris, and we have 3 daughters. Isabella is our oldest in 6th grade, Olivia in 3rd grade, and Eliana in 1st grade. Like Katie mentioned, I went to the same school as her here in Bellevue, the Catholic school, and I agree with her on what a sacrifice it was for our parents to give us that opportunity. There's a point in our life when I was younger where we were on food stamps. Like, we didn't have a lot of money in our house, but it didn't matter. Mom and Dad always made that a priority and just made it happen. And now having kids in a Catholic school, it's just what you do. And we think it's important that they are able to experience Christ in everyday life. And like Katie said, the focus has kind of shifted. I would agree with that. It's not a school that you go to and have religion class every day. It's a saint in the making, and what that means, and to just really grow in their faith. I feel so fortunate. So it's pretty cool. My girls are at the school that I went to as well. And I too went to a Catholic college, so I'm kind of with Katie on that. My occupation. Well, I was a teacher for...
It's complicated.
It's complicated. I was a teacher for 12 years. I taught at a public school. I did some special ed, 4th grade, and PE and at-risk. And then I started, during the COVID years, I started a little Etsy shop that took off like crazy. And I did both for a year, did my Etsy shop and worked full time. And it just continued, my Etsy shop continued to grow and grow and grow. So I had to make the choice, pick one, and it was a really hard choice, but I did a lot of praying on it and ended up doing my Etsy shop full time. And I did that for 3 years. And now most recently, the economy has been a little bit slower, so I have gone back to teaching. So now, 2 weeks in, I am a teacher at a neighboring district, and I'm working with high schoolers who have severe, profound disabilities. So, yeah, that's where I'm at now. And it's kind of funny, not to get too into the weeds, but I told Katie that this is not a job I would have ever picked. High school, level 3, special ed, not really what I would have picked. Like, I kind of forced my hand on this one, and okay, let's do it. Let's give it a try. It has been a blessing. I'm 2 weeks in, and I have 4 boys that I work with, and I just love them so much, and my heart has been so full and kind of perspective on the good stuff in life. So it's been really rewarding. Already.
It's funny because she said that it's not anything she would pick. And the moment she said what the job description was, I said, oh my gosh, you are going to be perfect at that. You are going to love it. And like most things in life, I was right. 2 weeks in, I was definitely right.
No. So anyways, that's kind of a long story also, but that's where I'm at, Cliff Note version. And as far as my faith, my Catholicity, won't even use that word. So Katie's definitely ahead of me.
Who knows? Maybe it's not even the right word.
Katie's definitely ahead of me on that, but I'm excited to continue to grow in my faith and my husband and my girls.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we're going to hopefully get to also throughout our podcast is the different relationships with Christ and the different, how do I want to say this? The levels and how everybody's
maybe at a different part in their journey.
Right. Everybody's faith journeys are different. And that's definitely something that I think that we, as far as Catholicity go, is everything. Everybody's different.
And now a short break from our sponsors. Live to give. Are you looking for the perfect gift for any occasion? Live to Give has a box for that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I was being
That's
funny.
Angie's business.
That's my Etsy shop.
I thought you were going to say,
Kiefer Plumbing and Heating?
no, I thought you were going to say my mom was going to be the sponsor because she kind of is a sponsor.
She is. Let's give a shout out to Sue Kiefer, who made this first podcast possible with these fancy Amazon microphones we're using.
Which was so complicated to hook up, but we did it.
Katie did it. I mostly sat on the couch and played with Carl.
Well, who knows? Who knows if it even worked?
This could be the only podcast because if we unplug these suckers, we'll never figure it out.
If you're hearing this, it worked. So praise be to God. So as far as the goals for this podcast goes, I don't know what your goals are. I have been thinking a lot about my goals. Mm-hmm. This all came to me when I had my students at Adoration. Just to pause. One thing about Angie is she is
Stop.
the biggest klutz
Not even necessary.
in the face of the earth, and she has knocked over her microphone probably 4 times already, and she just about knocked it over again. So,
which no one would have known had we just skipped past that, but
well, it's
Thank
something
you.
that, well, this is all relatives probably listening, so they
old
know.
news.
They know. But I was sitting in Adoration, and I had all of my students with me at Adoration, which if you ever taken 27-year-olds to Adoration, you know that it's not always peaceful, but we do our best. And it just came to me that I just don't, sometimes I feel like giving up because I see how holy everyone else is. And sometimes the way that just people even talk like, oh, the Lord told me this. Like, how?
Was that in a
Like,
text?
Did he email you? Was it? Yeah. So that's something. And then I always think, well, I'll never get there. Or, you know, I don't know how to get there. And I think that turns some people away from church, from the faith, from growing in their faith, is because it's kind of like they're way holier than me. I'll never get there.
It's almost intimidating, or I'm not worthy because I'm not at this level, or I don't present
right
like they do.
Exactly. So that's kind of where I'm coming at it from, is that I want people to know that if you are kind of like stuck or almost a little bit like not embarrassed, but just feel like you're not
Inadequate.
And
yeah. Not that you are, but
yes.
You feel that.
Yes. Yeah. Inadequate. Actually, the first name that I had picked out was mediocre Catholic, because sometimes I do feel mediocre. Like, well, I go to church, I say my prayers at night, but am I doing enough? Is that, you know, are my prayers even how a person should pray? Like, I don't know. But sometimes there are things that also you don't want to ask anybody because you're like embarrassed.
I feel like, yeah, there's no class on here's how you pray.
Exactly.
Or, like, I feel like maybe that happened. Well, maybe that happened in 2nd grade. So maybe you should know the answer, Miss Keeper.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And we do have a book on it in 2nd grade. So, my gosh, like coming after my teaching abilities. But I want people to come to the faith. And I really do feel like we're at a time that people's hearts are, I think, coming back to the Lord. And I really hope that this reaches people that want to grow in their faith. And even if maybe you don't want to grow in your faith, maybe you're just like listening.
Maybe you're just our relative who's being forced to listen
to us. I just
pray that this hits your heart how God wants it to.
Yeah, exactly. That whatever you were meant to hear, that it's what you were meant to hear, that Let go, let God.
Let go, let God.
How many times a day do you say that? I say that a lot. I don't know a lot about the Bible. I did the Bible in a year, but with Father Mike Schmitz, but I can tell you that I was not listening to quite a bit of it. I think we both.
But you did it. That was awesome.
It. Yeah. I think we both maybe, not to like put you on the spot, but I think we both maybe have a little bit of ADHD in us.
What?
And I just find it so hard to focus on things sometimes.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I even bought the Bible that went along with that book thinking this will really make me.
Yeah.
It's still sealed up.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Yeah. I started the catechism in a year too, and I didn't make it very far. So if that's you, man,
Welcome.
You're in the right place. Hence the mediocre part. But so growing up, and even now, like there are a lot of saints that I don't know about. When I graduated college, I probably didn't know any saints.
And I honestly still don't know that many. So if you don't know any, that's okay too.
Right.
Because you can ride along with me.
Yeah. And the only reason probably that I know so many saints is because I teach at a Catholic school. So we are always talking about saints and their feast days. So like I said, learning along with the children. And then another part of Catholicism that I want to talk about too is I really want to talk about the sacrament of confession.
Dun, dun, dun.
And just how it has impacted me. I never went to confession. I would say there was probably like 10 years that I didn't go to confession.
Same.
And one year I just was like, okay, I've got to go back. Like, I've got to do confession. When I would work retreats, when it would come to the confession part, I would go to the bathroom and then like make myself busy until confession time was over. And then
it's scary.
Whoop.
Sometimes it feels scary.
Whoops, out of time.
Daisy. Get me next year.
Yeah. But I think a lot of that also goes with teaching second grade. The sacrament of confession is a big deal as they're receiving their sacrament for the first time. And I've learned a lot about the sacrament of confession and teaching it. And it's just a beautiful thing. So eventually I want to talk about that too.
And encourage others.
Yeah.
AKA me, because I would fall into the more of a do it at a retreat.
Right.
My last confession was probably at Olivia's reconciliation.
Which was last year. That wasn't that long ago. So,
you know.
Yeah. But
I didn't go up and I didn't stop and go to the bathroom. I mean, I did do it. When
right.
we were
You did.
there.
Yes.
So
yes. You're good.
Some points for that.
Yeah.
But
yeah. You're good. You did.
I feel like you might be the teacher of this podcast and the audience and I will be like the growers.
Well,
I'm going to make everyone feel good. That might be my role. Like Katie will be like, oh, I did this a little bit. And I'm like, I haven't done this at all. So
yeah,
we're a good pair, I think.
Yeah. That's what everybody says about us. We're a good pair. Or they say, please go away. You two, you're driving us crazy.
Can't help it. Sometimes we're just so funny and not everyone sees our humor. So
Do you have anything else?
no, I'm actually more excited after recording this first session with you, to be honest.
Yeah, I
than
did kind of
was.
I did kind of just like, I never asked you really.
I was kind of voluntold for this role.
And here you are.
And here I am.
Having the best time ever.
Would not want to spend my day doing anything else.
As she checks her watch.
Sorry, it did just buzz. That was guilty.
Okay. She has kids at home that
We are not judging. This
her
is a non-judgmental
her
zone.
children have almost burnt the house down a couple times.
Yes,
so
this is true.
I understand.
Yes, thank you. All is good.
Do you have a can you relate?
I'm trying to think of one right
Okay.
now.
Yeah,
Do you
I thought-
have a can you relate? Since this is the relatable
Yes.
Catholic podcast.
So the name of our podcast, did we say the name of our podcast?
I don't know.
Relatable podcast. That's not even what
It's
it's
not
called.
relatable podcast.
Relatable.
Too broad.
Yeah. Relatable Catholic is our podcast name because we just want to be relatable. And
Relatable, approachable.
yeah. We just want you to know you're not alone in all your
chips are down, cards are down. What's the saying?
I have never heard that saying before.
Yeah, when the chips are down, we're here for you. I think that's a saying.
That's also a family trait. It's like
we
saying.
don't know any saying.
Just the saying's just a little bit wrong. So it still kind of sort of makes sense, but also not really. So let the chips fall where they may. Is that it?
Maybe.
I think that's it.
When something's down. Well, when something's down, we got you.
Yeah.
We're here for you, and we are praying for you, and you are loved.
Yes. So to wrap up, we thought we would have a Can You Relate segment.
Can you relate?
8. If you made it this far, good on you.
If you made it this far, that means Katie cut out the majority of our conversation today.
Right.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
You didn't
But
miss
also,
anything.
Katie doesn't really know how to do that. So
She's going to learn.
I'm going to learn. So the Can You Relate segment, it can be anything. Just can you relate?
Can you relate? Relate. We're going to have to work on that.
Yeah, we are. So my beautiful puppy, he's not a puppy anymore. He's almost 3. Carl has some serious tummy issues. And for a while, I would have to inspect his little droppings.
Oh, golly.
So all throughout the night, for a little while, he would have to go outside in the middle of the night, and I'd be too scared not to take him outside because I didn't want to mess. And so at 2:00 in the morning, I'm outside with a flashlight inspecting little droppings in the yard just to see if they're healthy. So can you relate to that?
I'm glad I can't relate to that one. No pets at our house, but
George!
Oh my gosh, you're right, George. We do have a tortoise. His name is George. If you're looking to get a pet, a tortoise is where it is at.
If you'd like to have a pet that lasts until
he will be
until
willed
you.
down to someone. He'll live longer than us, but really easy to care for a tortoise. That's actually easier than a fish. So yes, you're right. We do have George, but I have not had to. Well, George doesn't really go outside that much, especially in the fall or winter. Midwest, like that doesn't work for him. So I've not had to do that yet. Okay, so I think I'm going to think of a better one next time. Not that I didn't have enough time to think about this. You brought the podcast idea to me months ago, but I didn't really think about it. But can you relate? Doing laundry the other day. I won't say which daughter. I don't want anyone to get teased out there. But did a whole load of their laundry. School shorts, shirts, pants, everything. 1 pair of underwear.
Typical.
We got a week's worth of laundry and only 1 pair of underwear went through in their basket. So I don't know. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but we've got some work to do.
Yeah. I believe every part of that.
They're wonderful. We joke 3 girls, but no ladies. So that's something we're working on, getting better at our house.
Yes. Proper underwear.
Underwear changing. And maybe they got stuck under their bed or something. I don't know, but it just did.
Seems a little suspicious.
Yeah, a red flag. So can you relate?
So I think that this is the end of our very first episode.
I had an awesome time chatting with you.
Yes, it was so much fun.
Again, we know we have no business doing a podcast, so we
Yes.
appreciate your grace as we figure out what is really funny and what's just pretty lame that we said.
Yeah. And what's really relatable.
What's relatable.
It is
and
relatable.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening. We will be back with episode 2, which who knows what it'll be
We
about.
don't know.
It's a surprise for you and us. But thanks for listening. We really do appreciate it. For all of our relatives who are listening, we love you. Thanks for listening.
And all of our listeners that might not be relatives, which might not be any
Yeah,
people, but
right. You're pretty
thank you.
optimistic.
Thank you. And we are praying for you and rooting for you always.
Yes. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
See ya.